Choosing the right violin bow is often a much more challenging task than choosing the right instrument. The bow should act as an almost subconscious extension of your arm, and it can be close to impossible to put your thoughts and opinions into words. That's why we've put together this guide on how to try violin bows. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned player, this guide will provide you with some useful tips and a step-by-step approach to trying out different bows. Much like with musical instruments, the best way to feel confident about your choice of bow is by trying as many as possible, even if you're not looking to buy one anytime soon. It's very easy to get accustomed to the weight and response of your current bow, making it quite difficult to impartially evaluate anything that feels very different from what you're used to. It also helps to have a clear idea of the different aspects that contribute to the sound and response of a bow, so that you can better understand what it is that you like and dislike about a particular bow, as well as any others you might be considering for purchase. The balance of your bow is crucial as it affects your playing technique. A well-balanced bow will feel comfortable in your hand and allow you to produce a consistent sound across all strings. The weight of the bow can also affect your playing technique. A lighter bow may be easier to maneuver, but it may not produce the fullest sound. A heavier bow, on the other hand, could produce a richer sound, but it might be harder to make a jump. The general trend has been towards heavier bows over the last few years, but don't be afraid to go for a lighter bow if that is the weight that better complements your playing and instruments. Another aspect to consider is the flexibility of the bow. This can determine how easily it bounces off the string. A more flexible bow may produce a more expressive and nuanced sound, but it may be harder to control. And a less flexible bow could produce a more direct and focused sound, but might not allow for as much expression. The material of the bow is made from can also affect its sound and feel. Most violin bows are made from Pernambuco, but I'll briefly touch on carbon fiber bows. Pernambuco is a wood from Brazil and is known for having the best properties for bow making when it comes to density and flexibility. They are also ideal for their rich sound and responsiveness. Carbon fiber bows are a more affordable option and can be durable, but they may not produce the same depth of sound as Pernambuco. Ultimately, the most important factor to consider is the sound the bow produces. A good bow should allow you to produce a clear and resonant sound across all strings. It never ceases to amaze us the extent to which bows can affect the sound of an instrument. A truly great bow will bring out the best of your playing, as well as realize your instrument's full potential. It's important to have a structured approach in order to feel confident with your opinions, especially if you don't have a lot of experience. Here's some tips that we came up with to help you to try out bows efficiently. Now today I have a beautiful violin by Dario Vittori. This violin is quite bright, and my usual bow is also quite bright, so I'm wondering if the combination might be a little bit too edgy, and I'm going to see if a bow that's a bit more nuanced with a bit more flexibility might help me produce the sound that I'm looking for. The first thing that I would do is play on my current bow, and just a scale to get used to the sound that it produces and the feeling. Now, if I get my new bow, the one that I'm going to try out, first thing I want to do is feel the weight of the bow, see how it feels in my hand, and then test its balance. So a good thing to do for that is to, again, play some scales, make sure that it feels right at the frog and also at the tip. Something else that you will find out is by playing scales is how flexible it is. So this bow is definitely more flexible than my previous one. I've tightened it a little bit more, and I'm going to try and play the same thing again. I like the way it's feeling. I like the way it makes the violin. It just takes away a little bit of the edge and adds a bit of depth to the sound. The next thing that I would do is just to try different bow strokes. So you're definitely going to want to try some, détaché on the string type of things. And then see the response at the frog as well. And definitely try to bounce the bow off the strings, picado. So far I'm liking this a lot. I think it works quite well with this violin. Next thing I'm going to do is play some long notes, see how the sound production works, and then try different dynamics and different positions on the strings. So to me, this bow feels like it has a lot of colors. It feels very nuanced. It feels soft. It complements the violin very well. And it's definitely something that I would be looking at. I'm now going to play the same excerpt with 3 different bows, and I'm very curious to hear what you guys think. The first bow I'm going to use is a beautiful gold-mounted bow by Tibor Kovac. He's a very well-known bow maker and has been mainly working in Paris since 2003. The bow is very strong stick, and it makes a very focused and very nice sound. The next bow I'm going to use is another gold-mounted bow by Emilio Slaviero. Emilio is one of the best-known bow makers in Italy. He's based in Cremona, and he consistently produces bows of very high quality. We've been working with him for a number of years. The bow itself is also quite strong. It feels very maneuverable, and it allows the player a lot of flexibility. The last bow I'm going to use is a bit different. It's an old French bow made in the workshop of Dominique Pécat. It's more typical of older French bows. It's very supple, and it produces quite a round and velvety tone. Now that you've seen all 3 bows in action, I'm very curious to see if you heard a difference between them, and if you have a preference, definitely let us know.